If you woke up this morning, glanced in the mirror, and noticed something new on your skin, a dark spot, a raised bump, a patch that feels different than the rest, please don't look away and think, "Oh, it's probably nothing." I'm asking you to pause and truly hear me, because I've seen what can happen when people ignore these signs. I've sat beside families who wished, more than anything, that they could go back in time and tell their loved one to make that one doctor's appointment. Your skin isn't just your body's outer covering. It's your first line of defense, your lifelong storyteller. It has felt the summer sunshine of your youth, the brush of your grandchild's hand, the warmth of your loved one's embrace. But it's also a messenger, and sometimes it's the only one that tries to warn you when something is wrong inside. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. The power to spot something early, the power to protect yourself, the power to live more healthy days with the people who love you. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through changes on your skin that deserve your attention. Some might surprise you, some might seem harmless at first glance, but I promise, and if you stay with me until the end, you'll know what to look for, what not to ignore, and most importantly, how to act before it's too late. Number 1, the danger of waiting. Just to see. One of the most common and most heartbreaking mistakes I've seen is when someone notices a change on their skin and decides to wait it out. They think maybe it'll fade or it's just my age, and they put it out of their mind. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and by the time they finally get it checked, the problem has grown bigger, harder to treat, and far more dangerous. I remember Mr. Harris, a kind neighbor in his late 70s. He loved tending his vegetable garden and sharing tomatoes with everyone on the street. One day over the fence, he pointed to a small rough patch on his temple and said, "It's probably just from the sun. I've been out there for years." It didn't bother him, so he ignored it. 6 months later, he was sitting in a hospital bed, facing a long treatment plan for something that could have been handled quickly if caught earlier. The truth is, our skin doesn't change for no reason. Every new mark, bump or sore is a response to something: sun exposure, infections, allergies, or even internal illnesses. And as we grow older, our skin heals more slowly, making it easier for small problems to turn into big ones. If you see something that's new, changing, not healing, or just feels unusual, it's not worth the risk to wait. Your peace of mind is worth more than any wait-and-see approach. Number 2, the silent warnings that don't hurt. We've been taught to pay attention to pain. If it hurts, it's serious. But when it comes to skin problems, that thinking can be dangerous. Many serious conditions, including certain skin cancers, don't cause pain at all in the early stages. They just sit there quietly changing, hoping you won't notice. Margaret, a warm-hearted lady in her 80s, once told me she only worried about things that ached. She had a small mole on her back that her daughter noticed one summer. Margaret laughed it off, saying, "It's been there for years." But the truth was, it hadn't always looked like that. It had darkened and changed shape. When the doctor saw it, his face grew serious. It turned out to be something that needed immediate treatment. Margaret later said, "If my daughter hadn't spoken up, I would have kept ignoring it. This is why it's so important to check for changes, not just discomfort. Look for moles or spots that are getting bigger, changing color, becoming uneven at the edges, or looking different from others on your body. Keep in mind, you can't see every part of your own skin. Ask someone you trust to check your back, shoulders, scalp, or anywhere that's hard for you to see. These silent warnings might be your body's way of whispering, "Something's not right, please take a closer look." Number 3, how sunlight from decades ago can affect you now. If you grew up before sunscreen became a daily habit, you probably spent hours in the sun without a second thought. You might remember long summer afternoons outside, feeling the sun warm your face, working in the garden, playing sports, or just sitting on the porch. Back then, a tan was a sign of health. Sunscreen, if you had it at all, was for beach vacations. What we didn't know then was that every sunburn, even the mild ones, left behind small bits of damage. Over time, that damage adds up. Decades later, it can show itself as wrinkles, age spots, or in some cases, dangerous skin changes. These changes aren't always sudden. They can develop slowly and quietly. That's why some people in their 60s, 70s, or 80s are shocked when a doctor tells them a new spot is linked to sun damage from decades ago. The good news is, it's never too late to start protecting yourself. Wearing sunscreen now, avoiding the harsh midday sun, and wearing protective clothing can still make a difference. And perhaps most importantly, knowing your personal history with sun exposure can help you be more alert. If you spent your younger years working outdoors or enjoying long days in the sun, check your skin regularly. Think of it like checking an old roof. Even if it's stood for many years, it still needs careful inspection for small cracks before they cause big problems. Number 4. When a small spot isn't small at all. Sometimes the most dangerous spots on our skin are the ones we dismiss as tiny. We tell ourselves, it's no bigger than a freckle, so it can't be serious. But that's not always true. Some of the most aggressive skin cancers start out as something no bigger than a pencil tip. Mrs. Langley, a gentle, cheerful woman in her 80s, showed me a small dark mark on her calf one afternoon. She said, "It's been there for months, but it's so small I didn't want to bother the doctor." When her granddaughter insisted she get it checked, the dermatologist told her it was melanoma, caught early enough to treat successfully, but dangerous enough that waiting longer could have changed the outcome. Mrs. Langley told me later, "I almost didn't go. I thought I'd be wasting their time." Your skin is not something to gamble with. No matter the size, if something is new, changing, or looks different from the rest of your skin, it deserves a closer look from a professional. The best outcome you can hope for is hearing, "It's nothing to worry about." And if it is something serious, you've given yourself the best chance possible by catching it early. Remember, small doesn't always mean safe. Number 5. The skin's SOS. Signals you might overlook. Your skin isn't just a protective covering. It's your body's bulletin board. Sometimes it posts gentle reminders, like dryness in winter. Other times, it sends out bold, urgent warnings that something deeper is going on. The challenge is that many of us, especially as we get older, have learned to brush off little changes. We think, "It's just my age," or "I've had worse." But some changes are not just cosmetic. They're your skin crying out for help. For example, a yellowish tone in the skin or eyes could be your liver waving a red flag. Persistent rashes or itchy patches might be linked to immune system issues. Swelling, warmth, and redness in one spot might point to an infection that can spread if not treated. Even changes in the texture of your skin, like sudden thickening, unusual shininess, or peeling in one area, can be connected to deeper health concerns. I once spoke with Mr. Dawson, a retired postman who had walked miles in every season for decades. One winter, he noticed his lower legs turning reddish-brown. He thought it was just dry skin from the cold and tried lotion after lotion. It was his wife who gently insisted he see the doctor. What they found was a circulation problem that could have led to ulcers and more serious complications if ignored. That appointment changed the course of his health. Your skin can be like a friend who doesn't raise their voice but keeps giving you hints until you finally listen. My advice is simple. If something on your skin appears suddenly, spreads, changes quickly, or refuses to go away after a couple of weeks, don't guess, don't Google, and don't gamble. Make the call. If it turns out to be nothing, you've gained peace of mind. If it's something serious, you've given yourself the greatest gift, time to act while the problem is still small. Number 6. The myth that if it's not painful, it's fine. This is a belief I've heard so many times from older adults. If it doesn't hurt, it can't be serious. I understand why. We grew up in a time when pain was the main signal to stop and pay attention. But your skin doesn't play by that rule. Some of the most dangerous skin changes don't hurt at all, especially in the early stages. Margaret's story stays with me. She was in her early 80s, full of life, and loved knitting sweaters for her great-grandchildren. During one summer visit, her daughter spotted a small patch on her mother's arm, slightly raised, darker than the surrounding skin. Margaret said it didn't itch, didn't sting, didn't bother her in the slightest. She figured it was just an age spot. But her daughter insisted on a checkup, and the doctor confirmed it was the start of a dangerous skin cancer. Margaret later told me, "I would have ignored it forever if it hadn't been for her." The absence of pain is not the absence of danger. Think about a smoke detector. It doesn't wait until flames burn your hand to sound the alarm. It warns you early, quietly at first, so you can act before it's too late. Your skin works the same way. That means the things you can see, even if you can't feel them, might be more important than the things that hurt. And here's a gentle truth. As we get older, our nerves sometimes become less sensitive. We might not feel small irritations or changes the way we once did. That makes visual checks even more important. Use a mirror for the areas you can't see, or ask a loved one to help. If you live alone, you can even take a few photos once in a while to compare over time. Your goal is to be your own skin detective, spotting trouble early before it has the chance to grow into something that does hurt in ways you can't ignore. Number 7. The most urgent skin changes you should never ignore. There are certain changes on your skin that are like a ringing alarm bell, the kind you should never, ever put off. These aren't the kind of things you wait and see about. They're your body's way of saying, I need help now. First, any sore that refuses to heal after 2 or 3 weeks. Even the smallest wound should start to show improvement in that time. If it's staying the same or getting worse, especially if it bleeds, crusts over and then reopens, that's a sign to call your doctor. Second, watch for moles or spots that are changing in size, shape or color. A good rule of thumb is the ABCDE method. A for asymmetry, one half doesn't match the other. B for border, the edges are irregular or jagged. C for color, the color isn't the same all over, or it has unusual shades like black, blue or red mixed in. D for diameter, it's larger than a pencil eraser. E for evolving, it's changing over time. Third, be mindful of any new lump under the skin, even if it's painless. Lumps don't always mean cancer, but they always mean you need an answer. And finally, don't ignore sudden widespread rashes, yellowing of the skin or eyes, or deep redness and swelling in one area. These could be signs of serious infection, liver problems, or other urgent health issues. I think of these warning signs as your skin's way of tapping you on the shoulder. It's saying something's wrong inside, please look closer. If you see these changes, you're not being overcautious by seeking help. You're being wise. There's a big difference between living in fear and living with awareness. This is awareness, and awareness can save your life. Number 8. A true story of early detection that saved a life. Sometimes the difference between a tragedy and a happy ending is one small moment, one choice to take action. I'll never forget the story of Helen, a bright, lively 76-year-old who volunteered at her church's food pantry. She told me she'd noticed a small, shiny pink bump on her cheek. It wasn't painful. It wasn't growing fast. But her granddaughter, who was visiting from college, noticed it while they were baking cookies together. "Grandma," she said, "you should get that checked." Helen laughed it off at first, saying she had more important things to worry about. But the next week, she went to her doctor, mostly to make her granddaughter happy. The biopsy came back showing it was basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer. The good news? It was caught so early that it could be removed completely with a simple outpatient procedure. Helen told me later, "If I had waited, it could have spread deeper and scarred my face, or worse." She keeps a photo of her granddaughter on the fridge and says, "She's the reason I'm here to keep baking cookies." That's the beauty of early detection. It's not about rushing to the doctor over every little thing. It's about respecting the signals your body sends you. It's about trusting that your health is worth the time, worth the appointment, worth the care. And it's about realizing that catching something early isn't just a medical win. It's a gift to yourself and the people who love you. Number 9. A comforting final message and your next step. I know that hearing about skin changes and possible health problems can feel overwhelming. It might even bring up memories of friends or loved ones who faced illnesses. But here's the truth I want to leave with you. You are not powerless. You have the ability to catch problems early. You have the ability to give yourself more healthy days, more time with your family, more moments to laugh, to share stories, to hold hands with someone you love. Think about how much you've been through in your life, the challenges you've faced, the changes you've adapted to, the wisdom you've gained. This is just one more way to protect that precious life you've worked so hard to live. Checking your skin regularly, listening to your body, and speaking up when something's not right is not a burden. It's an act of love for yourself and for those who would miss you deeply if you were gone. So here's my gentle challenge to you. Today, take a few minutes to look over your skin. Use a mirror, ask a loved one for help, and make note of anything new or unusual. If you find something, don't delay. Call your doctor. And once you've done that, share this video with someone you care about. You might save their life too. We created Faith Wisdom to be a safe place where you can find guidance, comfort, and encouragement in your later years. If you found value in this conversation, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Every week we bring you more stories, advice, and heartfelt encouragement to help you live your best life. Not just longer, but healthier and happier. You matter. Your life matters. And your skin, this lifelong companion of yours, is worth listening to. So take care of it and let it take care of you.